Hello everyone, this is Mrs. P.S. Zadav for your geography subject. If you see your geography subject, this geography subject has your syllabus. That syllabus consists of the syllabus which has geography as well as economics chapter. And for this economics chapter, you can see in your textbook content page number 8 is the economics lesson, that is introduction to economics. Before starting with introduction to economics, let me just briefly revise you what we did in last few audio and video lectures. We completed distributional map and endogenetic movement, and in this video we are going to start with our economics chapter, that is introduction to economics. Now students, before starting with the chapter that is introduction to economics, let us get acquainted to some common terms of economics that is we need to understand. First one is, what is income? What do you mean by income? That is whatever the money comes from the various types of sources in your house. Maybe parents working in your factory getting the salary. If a businessman, he earns a profit. Then if there is a house on a rent, so you get rent for that. That is called as is income. The money that you earn is called as an income. The second thing that we need to understand is what is expenditure. Expenditure is nothing but what you spend, amount of the money that is spent by you, which goes out of you, is expenditure. Third is the budget. Now what is budget? Budget is nothing but your total addition of income and expenditure. If you have good income and if you have less expenditure, that is good budget. That is good kind of budget. Second, if you have more expenditure and less income is less, then that is deficit budget. If income is coming and expenditure is also same, coming income and expenditure is the same, then that is called as an equal budget, or we can say a budget that is to a very equal point of view. Such a budget do not lay a burden on the family, whereas the budget where your income is less and expenditure is more, you go in lot of financial crisis. So such budget won't help you, whereas the budget that is your income is equal to your expenditure, that is called as a equal budget. Whereas your income is more and your expenditure is less, and then you save your money, that budget is also very helpful for your family. Now students, there is a table which is given in your textbook page number 64. Now this table is a expenditure of a family. That is expenditure. This table explains you. If you see in this table, for the food is 6,000, for buying 2 sets of uniform 2,000, school stationery 500, medical expenses 450, recreation 500, mobile bill 1,000, vegetables, fruits, etc. is 1,000, transportation is 2,600, electricity bill is 1,500, tourism is again 4,000, and bank installment is 3,000. If you see, the total is 22,550 is the expenditure of a family, monthly expenditure of a family. But suppose if this family is earning its monthly income that is only 20,000. Now if his earning only 20,000, but if his expenditure is 22,550, then surely students, 2,550 is a great deficit. Deficit means he has to manage or adjust for this much amount of money which he is falling short of. Now, suppose if this family wants to make his budget up to the earnings of his own, up to the income of his own, then what he can do in his budget, he can just reduce some unnecessary expenditures. Like on tourism, he is spending 4,000. That is not necessary. He can just skip this. Also, buying an uniform is for 1 or 2 months. That also he can save. Also, he can save this 500 rupees of recreation for himself. So in this way, his money, say 4 to 5,000 of rupees, this family can save for himself. So by this way, we can learn from this above activity that if you realize this management of an individual or a family finance, this is nothing but it is related to income and expenditure. Income and expenditure is nothing but an economic factor, and this economic factor is very, very important because it has given birth to economics. So students, you might have experienced that if at all you need something and when you ask your parents, say for some shoes or some bicycle or something like that, at that time your parents just try to manage their income with the expenditure, and if they find that the expenditure for particular month is more, then they ask you to wait, no, this month it is not possible, and they assure you ki in the next coming days, in the next coming month, they would buy or they would help you with that requirement which you have asked for it. So definitely parents look for their budget, their income, their budget, and their expenditure. So definitely we can say that money has to be saved. Money has to be saved for the time for next coming years. So money, expenditure, income, all this is not a new term, but it has given to a birth of a new term which is called as economics. Now, what is economics? See, students, economics is nothing so very difficult to understand. The word economics has come from a Greek word oikonomoi. Oikonomoi means family management. Now, in this family management, there is a lot of similarity between the family management and economics. This is nothing but it is an art. Art means what? Art means just managing everything, managing the finance of the family. As family is managing its finances, same the government or the country he tries or that country tries to manage its finances. Yes, we can say in this way there is lot of similarity between family management and economics. So, as we say, time is money. And so we know, we have understood that economics is how it tells us how to use the time, how to use the money, the labor, and the land effectively. So, this is what it tells you, that how to satisfy the needs, these infinite needs. Needs are infinite, they are not limited needs, they are keep on growing, and this infinite needs of people using the various resources. See, resources are one and the same. Resources won't keep on increasing with the increase in the need. Resources are very limited. and this limited resources you have to use for the unlimited needs. So these needs, food, water, clothing, education, these are now the basic needs, and to fulfill this need we need the resources. So those which fulfill your needs is called as the resource, and these limited resources and your needs are unlimited. If you count the population of the whole world and the resources, the whole world's needs and the resources cannot be exactly matched together. Okay, so this is what it is about the managing of economics. Now we come across the definition that you need to understand very well. According to Lionel Robinson, economics is a science which studies human behavior as a relationship between the ends and the scarce means which have alternative uses. So you understand this definition, what Lionel Robbins said. He said economics is nothing but it is a science, and this science, it studies what? It studies the human behavior, and this human behavior is studied in relation with what? In relation with the between the ends and the scarce means, that is the relation of your needs and the means, the scarce, the limited means, and these limited means they have alternate uses. Let me take an example. Suppose the resource of iron is available to me. Now this iron, I can either make it into a use of make a tractor, or I can make it turn into a car. It is up to me. As a government, it is up to me. I can make it either a tractor or a car. So there is an alternate use to the available resource. So that is what, I have money, I have labor, I have land, but there is an alternative use of all these things. So this science is called as economics. That is the problem of choice is called as economics. So as we studied the family expenditure in the above table, we also know that even the village, the city, the state, the country, the world, they also have to manage their economics. So accordingly, according to what the family work, the same system is followed by country or by village or by a city or a state. The family, managing the family economies is very easy, I can say, but for a country like India or a country like USA, it is not much difficult, where the same kind of management system has to be followed. So students, I hope that you have understood. Geographically speaking, the enterprise is related to the production. Production means what? Whatever you are producing, whatever the country is producing. Now whatever you have produced, but naturally you cannot store it, you are going to distribute it. So there are manufacturers who produce, they are the producers. Now they sell these commodities to the distributors, retailers, wholesalers, and these retailers, wholesalers, they provide these commodities in the market, and you are what? You are the consumers. You consume these goods, and not only consume these goods, but you bring into your needs. Your needs get fulfilled. So this consumption of goods and services in a specific region, in specific area, what is it called as? It is called as economy. So I hope students that this is clear to you. This is what is PDC: production, distribution, consumption of goods and services are definitely important for an economy. Okay, students. Now we come to a very important part of the chapter, that is types of economics. Every country, according to its own geographical condition, according to its own benefit, decides one of these three types of economy. The first that comes here is capitalist economy. See, listen, capitalist economy means what? Ownership and management of means of production is in the hands of private individual. Means what, students? Private companies, they are the producer of various things and commodities, goods and services. So here the government gives the ownership to the private individuals, private businessmen. So that is what is capitalism. Everybody in this type of economy, their main aim is to earn profit, maximum profit they earn. So if you see few countries in the world like Germany, Japan, USA, they have this kind of economy. Whatever they wish to have produced, on that they can earn maximum profit. So students, in this next map you can see all the blue colored countries, they have the capitalist economy, or they are the capitalist country in the world. Now let us see what is socialist economy. This is completely opposite to capitalist economy. Here the means of production belong to the society as a whole, that is, the government controls over it. Government tries to distribute the good. There is no choice available to the customer. In capitalist economy, if you see there is a mobile producing companies. In capitalist economy, if you see, there are a lot of mobile producing companies. Okay, but whereas in the socialist economy, no, there would be only one single company, and that one single company only will be producing the mobile. That one single company only will be distributing it and only will be giving you the services. So you have no choice over there. Only one single company would be working in the socialist economy. Unlike capitalist economy, there would be n number of mobile companies. Say your Apple is there, your Nokia is there, Samsung is there. So like that, you have no choice over there in the socialist economy. Everything here is done by the government. Okay, the main aim of this kind of economy is to achieve the social welfare, that is, benefit of the people. Now if you see, the example is here, that is China and Russia. These both have adopted socialist type of economy. Now students, as you know, sir, Russia is no more. It is only China is having this kind of socialist economy. Russia is now not following. It is following a mixed economy. So this example, I hope, is clear to you. These are the socialist country. Now let us see what is mixed economy. The mixed economy is what? It is the coexistence of private and public sector. But before going to this, if you see, let me give you some more examples of socialist economy. Now socialist economy like North Korea, Vietnam, China, to already I told you, Cuba and Laos, these are the 5 communist countries in the world. They have their socialist economy. Okay students, I hope this is clear to you. Mixed economy is characteristics of both capitalist and socialist economy. That is, private and public sector work togetherly. Private sector means businessman and public sector means government. Now this is a balance between two of them. No, government companies are also there, private companies are also there. Both of them, they come under mixed economy. Give me an example. If you know the telecom sector in India, we have BSNL, MTNL. Now these are the public run companies. Oh, sorry, government run companies. Whereas Jio, that is Reliance, Airtel, Vodafone, Idea, these are the private run companies. So India has both these two kind of private as well as public. The same example I'll give you with the airlines. See, Indian Airlines is a government run company, whereas you have seen Spice, Go Indigo, and these all companies are the private companies. They provide the airlines to. Now recently you have even heard about Ghodawat also in this airlines field. So this is what is the mixed economy. I hope that this two aspects, this type of economy is clear to you. Let us meet in the next second part of our audio.